Hello and welcome, I'm Oles Gerduk and you're watching Head to Head with UATV. Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko has met with clergy of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church of the Moscow Patriarchate in Kyiv. The president spoke with bishops who support the creation of Autocephaly for the local Orthodox Church in Ukraine. The clergy spoke about receiving strong pressure from Russia. To talk more about the outcomes of this meeting, we welcome to the studio today Viktor Yelensky, Ukrainian MP and religious scholar. Hello and thank you for coming. So, the clergy of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church of Moscow Patriarchate said that they are experiencing some pressure from Moscow, and it is expected. What kind of pressure could it be theoretically?
During half of a year, we witnessed many cases of Russian pressure over the Ukrainian archiereys, bishops, archbishops, and pressure over the so-called Orthodox capitals all over the world. During this half of year, we witnessed Russian hackers who tried to penetrate into the mail address of Greek metropolitans. We witnessed Russian diplomats who were expelled for bribing Greek metropolitans from Greece. We witnessed the meeting of Council of Security and Defense headed by President Putin with only one issue: how to prevent Ukrainian Autocephaly.
Why for them is so important?
Because this is one of the fronts among in battle line of hybrid war against Ukraine. Mm-hmm. And political control over the Ukraine goes head with ecclesiastical control over the Ukrainian Orthodox Church.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of this meeting with the president, who was invited? Were there bishops from the Moscow Patriarchate who supported the creation of the church, or everyone was basically invited?
Each bishop of Ukrainian Orthodox Church of Moscow Patriarchate received two invitations. One from President of Ukraine and another one from primate of Ukrainian Orthodox Church of Moscow Patriarchate.
Moscow Patriarchate.
Both for the same time.
And for the same date.
And for the same date.
Okay.
Exactly. And it was nothing else than an attempt to destroy this meeting and to undermine the very dialogue between Ukrainian authorities and Ukrainian Orthodox Church of Moscow Patriarchate.
Mm-hmm. So basically, these two invitations were dividing the clergy of Moscow Patriarchate, here in Ukraine, on two sides.
Actually, there are a lot of bishops, clergymen, and of course laymen and women who sincerely support the Autocephaly of Ukrainian Orthodox Church. During the 2015, about 70 parishes in different corners of Ukraine decided to switch their allegiance from Moscow Patriarchate to Kyiv Patriarchate. They reasoning that it's impossible for them this day provide a funeral ceremony for fallen soldier on battle line, and in the same church building next day praise the name of Moscow Patriarch who blessed this war, who blessed arm, literally. He blessed nuclear arm, and President Putin stressed that there are two pillars of Russian sovereignty and a Russian state, namely the nuclear shield and Russian Orthodox Church.
So do you say that currently Moscow Patriarchate is losing its parishioners around Ukraine?
I believe that for now Moscow Patriarch strictly controlled a lot of bishops within Ukrainian Orthodox Church of Moscow Patriarchate. However, many lot of parishioners, a lot of clergymen, lion portion of Ukrainian bishops try to realize what is going on and probably realize how uncanonical and how un-evangelical was the decision of Moscow Patriarchate to break
the relations with
Constantinople Ecumenical Patriarch, which is not only Mother Church for Ukrainians, but also for Russians.
So, well, these ones who decided to switch probably to the Kyiv Patriarchate, they came to the meeting with the president. So what are the outcomes of this meeting? What has been discussed and maybe decided on?
There are several technical obstacles in the way of unification of Ukrainian churches. For example, it's impossible, according to canon law, for two bishops
to rule the church?
No. For two bishops have the same title. For instance, if I am bishop of, let's say, Zhytomyr and Korostin, my vis-a-vis from another church should change his title. It's impossible to be to have two bishops of Zhytomyr.
Mm-hmm. Well, so there should be just one bishop in one city. That's what you mean.
This is a principle of Orthodox canon law.
Okay.
So,
do we have a problem about it here in Ukraine?
Yes, it is, because both of them, for instance, have the same city of their cathedrals. Mm-hmm. So there are another technical reasons, and there are several technical obstacles, but these obstacles are not irreconcilable. So I strongly believe that Ukrainian Orthodox believers are in their way to local Orthodox Church, as it have Georgians, Albanians, Romanians, Bulgarians, Greeks, and other nations where Orthodoxy is a dominant religion.
And as far as I understand, President Petro Poroshenko delivered this very important message to the bishops of the Moscow Patriarchate, well, that are living in Ukraine, that they could join the Kyiv Patriarchate after the unification of Ukrainian Autocephaly. That's
absolutely.
Yes. So
absolutely.
basically, nobody is getting expelled. Just
I'd like to stress that Ukraine enjoys decent level of religious freedom. According to all monitoring commissions, there is a high level of religious freedom and church-state relations in Ukraine because of several reasons. First of all, of course, there are several centers of religious power in Ukrainian landscape. No one can dominate and suppress religious minorities. So religious minorities enjoy a really high level of religious freedom in Ukraine, unlike in our neighbors' countries. Mm-hmm. Another reason is that actually religion was not a core element of a national myth during the nation building of Ukraine. To take it briefly, it's possible to be true Ukrainian and at the same time be Orthodox or Catholic or Muslim or evangelicals. You can see over the composition of Ukrainian establishment. President of Ukraine is Orthodox. Mm-hmm. Speaker of the House is Greek Catholic, Prime Minister is Jew, while Secretary of Defense and Security Organization is evangelical.
Well, so you mean that basically religion doesn't have anything to do with the national identification of Ukrainians. But let's speak more about the Autocephaly and this Thomas as a document of granting this independence to Ukrainian Church. There is only one step ahead for receiving this document: holding a synod, this church council, and electing the head of the new autocephalous Ukrainian Church. When do you think this council going to happen?
I believe it would be within several weeks, and probably bishops. It would be a bishop council.
Mm-hmm. And who can participate in this council? I mean, bishops of what patriarchates?
Bishops of Ukrainian Orthodox Church of Kyiv Patriarchate, bishops of Ukrainian Autocephaly Church, mm-hmm. and bishops from Ukrainian Orthodox Church of Moscow Patriarchate as well.
Okay, so Moscow Patriarchate
they were invited, of course.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So if they will come, they will, of course, deny any tries to, I don't know, is it going to be some kind of voting over there for this?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so they will, of course, they will say no.
Voting over the new head or primate of this church.
Okay.
So all of them were invited to participate, of course.
So we should wait for it to happen several weeks, as you say, and after this, this new head, newly elected head, will be able to receive the Thomas from the Patriarchate. By
new elected primate would ask or appealed to Constantinople Patriarch for this decree in Greek Thomas
to be issued.
Autocephaly of Ukrainian Church.
Well, we were speaking about this meeting of Ukrainian President with some representatives of the clergy of Ukrainian Orthodox Church of Moscow Patriarchate, but at the same day, as you mentioned, top hierarchs of this Orthodox Church of Moscow Patriarchate also held a separate meeting in Kyiv-Pечерsk Lavra. As we already spoke, they wanted to destroy the meeting with the president. So they have officially declared that they do not recognize a decision of granting this autocephaly to the church in Ukraine. And but the thing is that Moscow is opposing not only by itself, it also has allies. And here I want to mention Patriarch Irene from Serbian Orthodox Church, who delivered the message that Serbian Orthodox Church doesn't support the idea of President Poroshenko, and moreover, he calls this idea the blasphemy of a divider. How could you comment on that?
First of all, Serbian Patriarch has the same problem, let's say with Macedonian Church as Moscow Patriarch with Ukrainian Church. Macedonian Church proclaimed their independence in 1967. This independence was supported by Macedonian authorities, but rejected by Serbian Patriarchate. And quarrel over the Macedonian question, Macedonian issue, gave start to a new wave of Serbian nationalism. But I would like to remind audience how Serbian Church obtained the Thomas.
How did they do that?
It was in 19th century, and ecumenical patriarch in his Thomas stressed that he granted Thomas to Serbian Church for three main reasons. First of all, because kingdom of Croats and Serbs gained its independence. It's first reason. Second reason, Church authorities had asked him about Autocephaly. And third reason, King Milan Obrenovich asked him about this Thomas.
Basically, the same story as here now.
The same story as we have in our case.
Well,
but one more
remark.
Note, yeah. Serbian Church unhappy because of decision of Ecumenical Patriarch, but Serbian Church is not going to break
the relations with Constantinople.
Absolutely.
Although they has called for some kind of all-Orthodox Sobor, or meeting in other words, to be held for this joint discussion on Autocephaly of the Ukrainian Church. Is there such a procedure in Orthodox world as this all-Orthodox synod?
Not at all. However, several years ago, Ecumenical Patriarch, as well as late head of Ukrainian Orthodox Church of Moscow Patriarchate, Metropolitan Volodymyr Sabodan, asked all family of Orthodox Church to consider Ukrainian question. Moscow Patriarchate strongly condemned this appeal and claimed that Ukrainian issue is internal issue of Moscow Patriarchate. 10 years ago, Ecumenical Patriarch Bartholomew asked Moscow Patriarch, late Moscow Patriarch Alexei II to cope with Ukrainian issue. When Moscow Church appeared to be unable to solve this question, to solve Ukrainian issue, Constantinople Patriarchate started his own procedure for granting Ukrainian Orthodox Church Autocephaly.
Autocephaly. Well, let's see what happens next, what happens in several weeks. Unfortunately, we run out of time, although your comments are really interesting. Thank you for commenting, and thank you for being a guest today in our studio.
My pleasure.
That was Viktor Yelensky, Ukrainian MP and religious scholar. Thank you for watching Head to Head. I'm Oles Gerduk. Goodbye.